special relationship. Okay, what do we mean by that? Well, how many of you remember back from like grammar school, grade school, when you were talking about complementary angles? You remember that? What are complementary angles? Who remembers? Anybody? Okay, so those are two angles when added together that equal 90 degrees. Okay, so like the picture showing you, if this angle is 59 and this one is 31, together they equal 90. So when two angles can be added together and equal to 90, we say that they're complementary. A lot of times we'll see it in a situation where you'll that this is a right angle, and then you'll be told that this is like 57 degrees. And this box, you guys know that symbol, that notation that means that that's a right angle? Right angles are equal to 90 degrees, right? And then we know that these two angles then are 90 degrees. Okay, can't do this. So if we're told, for example, that this whole area where this box, this quadrant is 90 degrees, and we know that this is 57, well, we know that all of this is 90. Take 90 minus 57, and we can solve for that other angle. So this angle would be 30. Complementary. Two angles add up to 90. Supplementary angles are when two angles add up to 180. Okay? This one's 138, this one's 42. When we add them together, they add up to 180. Sometimes the angles are side by side, like this example here I gave you, but sometimes they're not. Sometimes they can be apart from each other, but as long as two angles, their measurements add up to 180, we say that they are supplementary to each other. Okay, what the word adjacent means. Anybody? What does the word adjacent mean to you?
Pardon me, we are now in a lockdown drill. We are in a lockdown drill.
Hold on now, wait a minute.
All right, you guys, everybody's caught up with these? So let's cover these last 5. What does adjacent mean? Who knows? Adjacent. I'll use it, yeah? They're touching. I'm going to use it just in a non-mathematical way, okay? Coach Almond and my classrooms.
Next to each other.
Not across. Next to. They're side by side. Yeah, they're side by side. This is Mr. Snyder. Our classroom and Mr. Snyder's classroom are adjacent. They're side by side. They're next to each other and they share a wall. Okay? It means when something's right next to. Okay? when we're talking about it in terms of angles, we're talking about one angle here and another angle here, and they share that side. Okay, they're side by side. Okay. And they also share a vertex. Okay, so they share a vertex, which is kind of like this corner, right? A lot of times when you're taking a test and you're like, oh my gosh, I forget adjacent, what does that mean? Think about what it means in real life. Like, think about what I gave you, right? It just means that they're next to each other. Okay? This next one, vertical angles, are going to be used so much when you do your proofs, and a lot of people forget what this means. All it means is when you have two lines that crisscross like this, the angles opposite each other are congruent. Okay, so this is two opposite or my intersecting lines, and they're congruent. Guys, what does congruent mean? I keep saying the word congruent. What does it mean? What do you think it means? Equal. Okay, you see this line, angle 1 and 2, they are congruent. They're equal to each other. Adjacent, they're not touching. And angles 3 and 4 are congruent and vertical angles. Okay, so you're gonna write like 1 and 2, and 3 and 4 are vertical angles. Okay. Any questions about this? You see the difference between adjacent and congruent? And adjacent and vertex? Vertical? So here they're just side by side, and here they're across from each other. All right, the last one is linear pair. These are two angles, 1, 2, but what do they form when they're put together? A line. A line, very good. So these are two angles that form a line. Are they next to each other, or are they side? Guys, you see why we had to change seats? When you guys sit next to certain people, it's not good. And they're also supplementary. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that they're supplementary. Who remembers what that means? 180. Because what can I draw here? What is this? A half of what? A circle. What's a circle? What's the degrees in a circle? 360. This is a half a circle, so it's going to be 180 degrees. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
All right, good deal. Okay, so those are the angles that I wanted to go over today.
Thank you, staff and students. The lockdown drill has now concluded.
That's my favorite drill.
Okay, yeah.
All right, you guys, look on the next page at number 1. So I think it's just right next to you, but it's the next page to me. Look at the first example there, where it says special angle pairs practice. You know what this is? Yeah. Look at the first one. What type of angles do we have here? What do you guys see? Adjacent, good. Awesome. What about number 2? What do you see there? Supplemental, yes. What else? Look at your notes. What else do you see? Not vertical. Yep, because together, what are they forming here? Now look at your definition of linear pair. They have to be supplemental and they're also what? Look at your actual definition on the page. Adjacent. So here's a little tip. When you say linear pair, they're also going to be adjacent and supplemental. All right? So let's look at the next one. What about these? Are they side by side? So what does that mean? Yep, they're adjacent. What else are they? They're so form a line, and a really important one. Hit each other. See when those line other, and then if this angle and this angle are congruent to each other. Let's see. What about number 5? There's 2 here.
Complementary.
Yes, adjacent because they're side by side, and complementary because they told us that together they are equal to 90 degrees. By showing us that half box, that is a drawing letting us know that this is a 90. Okay, let's look at this vertical. They kind of threw in an extra line here, but you see. All right, let's do a couple more. What is this next one? What's number 7? What do you see there? Yep, complementary. Why is that? Yes, because the 72 and the 18, when you add them together, equals 90. Good job. Chase, what do you think about the next one, number 8? Vertical. Vertical is when there's 2 lines, the angle's opposite the crisscross. They're not next to each other. I didn't hear it. What? Adjacent. That was a tricky one. Number 9. Here, they form a line, and then what is that a definition of? What is it?
So our favorite.
Linear plane, linear
Pair.
pair. Thank you. All right, number 10. What do we have here? Vincente. What's 10 looking like? Linear pair? Linear pair, so therefore, what other properties does linear pair have with it? Adjacent, and what else? What do they form? Supplementary, because they form a line. It's 180 degrees, so when I add up this angle and this angle, it's going to equal 180. Okay, let's look at number 11. Logan, what do you think about this one? Bravo. And lastly, 12. Just one answer there. Yes, supplementary. Because 50 plus 180 equals 130 equals 180. All right. Hopefully you guys are kind of getting the rhythm with that. Okay. I want you to go to your next half page there where it says special angle pairs practice 2. Next little half page. Who remembers, go to the bottom of that page where it says 13 through 16. Right where I have on the board here. Does everybody find it? It's like a rectangular piece at the bottom. I need you to take a little bit of notes, okay? Make sure you have something to write with. Emiliana, the time to take notes, just remembering everything today, okay?
Oh.
Yeah.
Emiliana. Okay, so let's talk about lots of different ways to name an angle. Zach, how would I name this angle right here? Any idea? Anybody? Want to take a guess? Yes.
Wait, like the name?
Yeah, well, how would we name it? Say it again.
Acute.
Oh, acute, that's a type of angle, that's a good one. ABC. So if I was trying to refer to this angle here, I'll call that Z. I could name this angle, angle ABC. Who sees another way we can name that angle? John? Say it. Yes. Yes, she said C. What's the commonality here? What's the same in both of them? The B. Yeah, the vertex. This position here has to be your vertex. What's the vertex? That's that little point where the two lines meet to the angle. You see that? Could we name BCA? No. Okay? X has to be in the middle. There's one other way we can name this. Like maybe something you haven't seen. You see how I put the letter Z in there? Sometimes you're going to see a variable as a measurement for an angle. You may have to solve for that angle. So you could also call it angle Z. And then on occasion, you may see another point, another point on the line, like this K, and you could also use that point. You could also call this KBA. It doesn't matter if I use the C or the K, I'm still talking about this angle. Do you guys see that? So one of the questions may be, come up with 4 ways to name a certain angle. And you're going to want to make sure you can name all of them. Does that make sense? The big thing is we have to make sure what is in the middle every time. The B, but what's the B called? The vertex. Okay? Where did I get K from? Great question. So I just added K to that line, and I just said if there happen to be 2 points on that line, you could call this line CBA. You could also call it KBA. It's still forming that same angle. Okay. All right, good job. This page is going to be homework. Okay, but don't do it now. Okay, so I want you to pay attention. This page that we're on, numbers 1 through 16. I'm going to give you time to do it at the end, though, so don't panic. All right, one other thing I want to get through today. How do you know those lines are parallel? They look parallel, but you can't assume they are. But if somebody tells you this, if they do a little notation that looks something like that, that tells you that those 2 lines are parallel. And when we get into proofs, you're going to have to look for little notations on the figures, on the drawings, and look for those little clues that they give you. They're going to put a little half box showing that it's a 90-degree angle. They're going to put little arrowheads on 2 lines showing you that they're parallel. Okay? So in this example, it's a double arrow. Okay, just something showing you that these 2 lines are parallel. Otherwise, you cannot assume that they are. And if we have a line transversing, traveling through it, that's a transversal. Just a line going through another line. In this case, it's going through 2 parallel lines. And what it's doing is it's forming a bunch of angles. We're going to talk about these angles a little after these notes, but I just want you to see all the angles it forms. Okay? Once we know one of the measurements of one of those angles, we know all the other ones. Here's why. There's something called an alternate interior angle. And what that means is that we're talking about what's happening between the parallel lines. You see between the parallel lines, we call that the interior. Okay? What happens above and below the parallel line, we call that the exterior. Okay, so right now we're talking about the interior. So what's happening right in here? This is the interior. And we've got 4 angles in there. Well, guess what? The ones that are on the inside, but on alternate sides,